Everybody, welcome back. Day 9. And today we're going to have a trio of poems. That's right, 3 common lits. All poems, short poems, written by Langston Hughes. And Hughes, I put up on the portal, the Webster Parish portal, a short biography of Hughes, also a short biography of the Harlem Renaissance, which he was at the heart of. Harlem Renaissance occurred around the same time as The Great Gatsby was written, and it is a huge defining point in American history because the idea of the American dream, to be 100% honest, was denied and can still be thought to be denied by certain segments of the country. We're going to focus more on minorities here, specifically African Americans. When he first wrote the first poem that we're going to read today, it was in 1926, around the same time as The Great Gatsby, and we were only about 60 years removed from the Civil War. And it would be another close to 6 years before the Civil Rights Movement led by Martin Luther King in the 1960s. So basically, the pursuit of the American dream that was enshrined in the Declaration of Independence in 1776 was pretty much denied to blacks. They weren't citizens but slaves. And with Jim Crow laws and everything after that, just because we had the Emancipation Proclamation and at the end of during the Civil War, Jim Crow laws, all kinds of other things, segregation wouldn't end. It wouldn't even be thought of to be implemented as far as integration goes till the 1960s, and we still had places in the 1970s that they were still fully practicing it. And so the first poem, actually, I take that back. I picked these 3 poems because they're short. They're very short. Too, Harlem and top of my head, I can't remember what the third one I picked was. We'll get back to it, but I picked them because they're very short. And it's probably his most famous poem. It's very long and very lengthy, and I didn't want to get into it so much. We may do that on a separate video just about that poem itself. Is "Let America Be America Again," and that's what we'll talk about just for a second. Basically, in "Let America Be America Again," Hughes writes that we have this idea of the American dream, but how it was denied. And he's not focused strictly on black people. It was denied to Native Americans, poor white working class, some immigrants, and black people. He focuses on all of these quote unquote marginalized groups. And he says, like here, in the poem, in the "Let America Be America Again," he writes, "Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where himself is free." And then in parentheses, it says, "America was never America to me." So it carries on through this whole thing, talking about how awesome America is and the land of opportunity and the American dream and this unique vision. And then it has brackets, "America was never America to me." And he goes down into these different segments of these marginalized people, whether it be black, Native American, homosexual. He doesn't talk about homosexual, but because it was in the 1920s. But he talks about the poor whites, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. "O land, oh let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath. But opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There, parentheses, there's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free." Okay? The tension in this poem, it derives from its absence of hate. Because so many countries, and this is still the day, the way it is, lack America's almost magical capacity for reinvention that lies at the root of the American dream, the greatness of this country. Because this country, I know I'm an American and sometimes patriotism is frowned upon, but this country is the greatest country that has ever existed, period. It's a unique idea of what we were and you could become in America. And whereas like other nations rewrite their past, America wants to realize the things that we have done wrong and to and to try to make them right. And he can get carried away, yes, but it's by the other on the same side of that, or on the other side of that argument, those who fail to learn history are doomed to repeat it. And America wants to remember its faults and to do better. Some people say, well, it's in the past, let the past die. Kylo Ren, the past is the past, let it die, kill it if you have to, stop holding on. And I get that, but if you don't hold on and you don't correct your ways, then you can be doomed to repeat it. And so while other nations, they almost fetishize their past, and they rewrite their history in blood, America's genius is in the fact that we don't forget. We will continue, and we want to make this dream possible for everyone. All right, and so he goes on. Let's see where he goes here. The poem, I think, what's best is in the poem is Hughes describes the unique potential for reinvention in the United States. He states flatly in this poem that people are unequal as far as like the opportunities given to them, and he was not free in the 1920s. There's still Jim Crow and all those kind of things. Racism dictated the land, but his dreams of uplifting, almost a reconciliation between American reality and the American dream. That's what he wanted. That was his ultimate goal, his positivity, almost like Gatsby, his eternal passion for hope, his unbridled enthusiasm. The things he says, and he continues talking about these issues with marginalized people, has been fought for through slavery, Civil War, Jim Crow, Great Depression, McCarthyism, Vietnam. This is not a race issue. It's a class issue, social class. America healed from all of these things because America today is stronger and more united than you can imagine. You think the internet may drive you to this idea of social media may make you think that we're more divided. And yes, we have great divisions. But it's just from when I was growing up, when I was young, to now, the divides may have changed, but we have come together more than we ever have. That's just my personal opinion, my personal perspective. E pluribus unum. One nation. Okay, and in the rest of this poem, he says, "Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, not for him or these marginalized folk. Yet must be the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's land. Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith in pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again. America, oh yes, I say it plain. America was never America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be." So again, there is no anger here. There's this declaration of not everyone has, but we all can. It's a hope. It's a call to charge. It's a clarion call for change. And that's why we're going to focus on Hughes today, because Hughes writes of hope, and Hughes writes of, we know there's division and we know there's inequality, but we can get there. America will be. Okay? He doesn't descend in despair. It's a rallying cry for inclusion. And I like to think that it's a poem that leads to an oath of an unrealized idea. It's battered, but it's alive. Okay, so we're going to go on here, and if you want to read more in depth on Let America Be America Again, you're more than welcome to. I included a link on the portal. But we're going to focus on these three smaller poems now. The first one we're going to read is I Too. So, I Too is the first poem written by Langston Hughes. And the first thing you're going to notice, well, not the first thing you're going to notice, but one of the things you're going to notice about these poems, I've selected this trio of poems, is that they're very spread apart. The first one's here in 1926, the second one is in 1941, and the last one we're going to read today is written in 1951. So it's kind of the same theme, and Hughes is without a doubt one of the most influential poets in American history. So Langston Hughes, 1902 to 1967, was an American poet, novelist, playwright, social activist. Hughes was also a leading figure in the Harlem Renaissance, which was a social and political movement of black artists in Harlem, New York. Again, I included a YouTube link in the portal for you to go over the Harlem Renaissance. In this poem, a speaker comments on the discrimination he faces. As you read, take notes on the speaker's thoughts about the future. All right, so here it is. It's very short. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll care. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. All right. So basically, this poem is basically talking about the way African Americans were treated even after the Civil War and they had gained freedom. They were completely second-class, marginalized citizens. Sit at the back of the bus, colored-only bathrooms, colored-only drinking fountains, separate, complete separate. Separate but equal. It's kind of like what it was called. All right, number one. Which sentence describes the main theme of the poem? The answer is D. The color of your skin doesn't determine whether you're American or not. He talks here about I too am in America, but I am sent in the kitchen to eat. But he doesn't get upset about it because he knows things will change in the future. Probably because he sees how things changed just 60 years prior where black people were enslaved. Number two, which detail from the text best supports the answer to part A? The answer is A. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. Number three, how is the detail of the speaker being asked to eat in the kitchen important to the theme? The answer is A. It emphasizes the unfair treatment the treatment the speaker receives. Number four, how is the speaker affected when he is asked to eat in the kitchen? C. The speaker is confident that things will change for the better. And this one right here, this is what I want you to get from this poem. The answer here to number five. How does the poet's word choice contribute to the hopeful tone of the poem? It's hopeful. He wrote in hopeful terms, in positive terms. There was very little anger anywhere in his writings. So how does the word choice develop to the hopeful tone? Okay, he's told to eat in the kitchen. He's not told, he's mandated. You do it. All right, it's not asked. But he laughs and he eats well and he grows strong. It's like, hey, things are bad now, but I know that they will be different in the future. I may not benefit from this. That's the thing. I may not benefit, but I know that black people in the future will. Tomorrow I'll be at the table. Tomorrow doesn't mean tomorrow, like I just said. It doesn't mean Saturday. This means like the future. This is tomorrow in like years and years from now. Hughes would never benefit from the fight that he and so many others did put up. But I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. So they'll look back, and this is he's prophetic here. He is prophetic. America is ashamed of its sin against so many, especially African Americans. I too am an American. All right, let's down here. These are your parts. These are your questions. In the poem, the speaker, whoa, Nelly, whoa. In the poem, the speaker shows how he, oh my God, sorry. In the poem, the speaker shows how he is not treated equally in America because of his skin color. How does he respond to the discriminatory treatment? Describe a time when you felt treated unfairly. All right, so this part right here is, you're talking to yourself, but basically he, doesn't respond in anger. He responds with hope. Number 2, in the poem, the speaker expresses confidence about the equal treatment he will have tomorrow. Do you think Langston Hughes would be happy with the state of America today? That's your opinion. It's all a matter of perspective. I know social media likes to try to cause divide with people, but I can just say from my time growing up to now, we seem much more united than we ever have. I can tell you experiences growing up with just private, personal things that I was not allowed to do, but it's not even thought about being an issue now between blacks and whites. And I know that it wouldn't have been that case 20, 30 years ago. But everything's a matter of your own perspective. In the final line of the poem, the speaker states, I too am America. What does it mean to be an American? Throughout history, how has America attempted to exclude certain groups of people? Do you think America is more inclusive of various groups of people today? Why or not? Yes, America is more inclusive. That's just a fact from the past. Do we still have issues? Yes. Do we still have ways to go? Yes. But you can disagree with me. This is your opinion. Okay. Our first Langston Hughes poem down. It's a very hopeful tone. I too speaks of the injustice currently being done back then to Langston Hughes. That was writing from a this is happening to me now perspective. But this tomorrow will not happen. And I will not be here for it. But I know others will. The people who will benefit from this. It's not the people who are alive today. All right. The next poem is Dreams. Dreams by Langston Hughes. And this continues this hopeful tone of to have a dream and not letting your dreams die. Because you let your dreams die, what do you got left? Okay. Langston Hughes, written in 1941. The first one we read was written in 1926. So we can see he continues his poetry and his writing over a lengthy period of time. All right, dreams. Now you also got to think here about with the time frame. He wrote these things, and a lot of time goes by, and he doesn't lose his hope. He doesn't lose his hope between 1926 and 1941 when he writes here. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow. All right, hold fast. Fast here means steady. Don't let it go. Barren here means lifeless. Nothing grows. Bad. Barren wasteland. Okay, let's read this again. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow. All right, now this is not blank verse. This is an alternating rhyme scheme. Some of his other poems are blank verse, which means it doesn't rhyme. Okay, so right here, metaphor. Broke winged bird to dreams die. A broke winged bird, it needs its wings to fly, to survive. If its wings are broken, it dies. If we don't hold on to our dreams and keep fighting for them, we are basically like a broke winged bird. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. If you don't have dreams or you let your dreams go, you're going to live a cold, hopeless, miserable life. What's the point of life without dreams and goals? All right. Down here, number 1, the answer is D. Which sentence describes the main theme? Having dreams is an essential part of life. Number 2, which detail from the poem best supports the answer to part A? The answer is B. For if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird. All right, this is a metaphor. Our dreams comparing to the broken winged bird. Number 3, how does the repeated phrase, hold fast to dreams, contribute to the poem? The answer is A. It stresses the importance of not letting your dreams go. Then right here, number 4, what does the poet mean when he compares a life without dreams to a broken winged bird? We already talked about that. Dreams are vital to life, just like wings are vital to a bird's life. If your dreams are broken, or you don't have dreams, or you give up on your dreams, it's the same to you spiritually as a bird whose wings are broken. It's going to die. It's going to wither. Just like your spirit and soul will wither. Also, the barren field. Dreams are necessary. A barren field is hopeless and devoid and cold. Your questions, the questions for you. Describe a dream that you hold on to. I can't answer that for you. Why is it important to you to not let this dream go? That's a personal, deeply personal question. Do you have a person in your life who encouraged you to hold on to your dreams? Who is that person, and why does that person encourage you to hold on to your dreams? That's a deeply personal question. Mine would be my wife. Yeah, it's just a deeply personal question. Oh, we missed one. In the poem, the speaker describes life without dreams as bleak and empty. What do you think life would be if people didn't have dreams? This doesn't mean dreams as you go to sleep. I hope everyone realizes that. It doesn't mean like dreams after you close your eyes. This is like goals, wants, your dreams of doing what you want to do with your life. Okay. That's 2 poems down. We have 1 more to go. And again, you can see this hopeful tone remains. This one's also a tiny bit of a cautionary story, cautionary tale. Don't let your dreams go. You got to remember where he was writing from. This was deeply personal to him. He was living this. In the 20s, he talked about, I know what's going to happen in the future. We will be equal and we will be treated as such. And here he says, don't let your dreams go. We still live in this. What I said in the 20s is true. Don't let your dreams go, and we'll get there. All right, last one we're going to read is another short one. It's called Harlem. And he continues that theme throughout, but it's kind of a warning as well of letting go of your dreams. It's kind of a warning. It's a little more forceful. For Langston Hughes is Harlem. It was written in 1951. And so we see Mr. Hughes. His first poem was in the 20s, 1926. Then we had another one, 1941, and now 1951. This is what he's living. And he still has the same message all these years later. The same message about having a dream, don't let go of the dream, and eventually you can get there. You can achieve that dream. This one's a little more forceful, though. Harlem has a lot of imagery, negative imagery. It's kind of gross. So let's start here. What happens to a dream deferred? Deferred means put off. Not canceled, but put off. So it doesn't happen. So what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust over and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? All right, so here, again, the imagery here is disgusting. Fester, if you don't know what the word fester means, here's the definition right here. To become infected. So imagine just an infective spot, and then with pus like a sore and runs. Ugh, gross. Stink like rotten meat. You can just picture flies buzzing around over something. Ugh. Or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet. Crusty. It's just gross. Gross imagery. Because what he's trying to relay here is putting off your goals and goals not happening. It can, over time, it can be a huge burden, and it can just beat somebody down and they'll stop believing. And so it's a warning here to like, yes, it's a difficult fight and it's been a long fight, but if you give up on your dream, this is what's going to happen to you. Okay. Number 1. Which sentence describes the main idea of the poem? The answer is D. Dreams that are delayed could disappear or become a burden. Part B. Which detail from the poem best supports the answer to Part A? The answer is C. Does it stink like rotten meat? Number 3. Which statement explains the simile? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. The answer is C. A postponed dream can become something difficult to carry. Number 4. How do the similes that the speaker uses throughout the poem contribute to the negative portrayal of a dream deferred? All right, before I answer that, I'm going to get a little figurative language here. The difference between a metaphor and a simile. A simile is a metaphor. It's when you compare, different things. Men are dogs, metaphor. Doesn't mean they're actual dogs, canines. It's a negative connotation. That's a metaphor. Men are like dogs, with the word like, that's a simile, like. A simile is a metaphor that uses like or as, period. So you can see right here, explain the simile, maybe it just sags like a heavy load, simile. All right, how do the similes that the speaker uses throughout the poem contribute to the negative portrayal of deferred dreams? Simply, dreams can go bad when they're postponed if you don't take measures to keep them from going bad. The sugary sweet comment is basically like, even if they don't go bad or explode, they lose some of their original life. You know what I'm talking about? They aren't as good as they once were because time has taken its toll on them. All right, down here, these parts. In the poem, the speaker explores what might happen to dreams that are postponed. What do you think could make someone postpone their dreams? Why do you think Langston Hughes would say to someone who was thinking about putting off their dreams? Me, what do you think can make someone postpone their dreams? Life, time, hard going, someone standing in their way. I would think that Hughes would tell somebody not to give up. In the poem, the speaker describes largely negative things that could happen to a dream deferred. Do you think there are times when it's best to put off a dream? Why or why not? Is there an instance to where you have a goal and you need to put it on hold? That's your opinion. Describe a dream that you have that you plan to achieve. Why are you passionate about this dream? That's your own personal deep opinion. That is day 9 down of our 10-day study on the American Dream and the Great Gatsby. And now Langston Hughes. That's 3 poems from Mr. Hughes, a famous, very important, hopeful American poet. We talked about Let America Be America again. If you want a more in-depth of it, please search it out online. We talked about I Too. We talked about dreams, and we talked about dreams deferred. So, Hughes speaks today clearly and loudly. He has achieved the things that he talked about witnessing and working for, have in a lot of ways come true, but there's still more work to go. And just because we have this idea of this American dream and everybody can do everything, there are things that stand in the way of some people. That doesn't mean that you still can achieve, but there are some burdens that people face that others don't. That's just life. But we can get around it. We can do better. We can reach further. We have one more lesson that is going to be on our modern day informational text about difficulty of achieving the American dream. Check back next time, tomorrow, and we will go into that. In the meantime, as always, it's a great time to be a warrior.